Hi, this is the Business Guy. I'm the CEO of Asset Protection Planners and Lawyers Limited, the nation's largest asset protection firm. And today we're going to talk about how to protect liquid assets from lawsuits. For example, your bank account, cash in the bank, talking about stock market investments, things that you can liquidate easily into cash. And by the way, if you need help in one of these areas, you can go ahead and give us a call and speak with one of our attorneys or consultants. And if you appreciate this information, please click the like button below so YouTube promotes it. Thanks so much. And you can also click the subscribe button and notification bell if you haven't already, so when more videos come out like this one, you'll be up to date right away. So what are the strategies that don't work? The ones that people think will work and they try and they get creamed in the courtroom. Some silly ones like I'll just dig a hole or I'll just hide it under my mattress, but you know what happens there. You'll worry your head off like somebody's going to steal it, or your house is going to burn down and everything's destroyed. So naturally, those aren't good strategies. Plus, somebody says, well, I'll just tell them I went to Las Vegas and blew all my money there. Well, that used to work, but now Las Vegas tracks the money because money laundering was happening that way. So now they're legally obligated to track who's spending the money, where is it going, and so on. And all those strategies right there we're talking about is hiding. So the problem with hiding is hiding leads to jail. Number one, if you don't tell them what you did with the money, you'll be held in contempt of court and held in jail until you tell them because they know you did something with it. Or number two, if you lie and you say you don't have it but you really do, you'll be thrown in jail for perjury. So hiding is not a good strategy. Somebody else says, well, I'll put it into a living trust. Now, just because there are trusts that provide asset protection doesn't mean that every trust provides asset protection. It's like taking a dump truck down to the racetrack. Not every vehicle is meant for driving really fast, and not every trust is meant to protect your assets from lawsuits. Living trusts don't protect your assets from lawsuits. Now, they're great for estate planning when you want to pass your assets on to your heirs, but they're terrible for asset protection because you can just cut right through them like a hot knife through butter. Somebody else says, I'll just transfer money to mama. I'll take my money and I'll wire it to my mother, and I'll tell everybody it's hers, not mine. You know what that'll do? That'll drag mama into your lawsuit. They'll sue mama and accuse you of fraudulent transfer, fraudulent conveyance. That's a bad strategy. They'll get it away from mama, plus a lot of money for mama in legal fees. That's not going to be a happy conversation on Thanksgiving Day. We have other clients who say, I'm going to liquidate everything that I have and buy a house in Florida where you get homestead protection. Well, that may work theoretically, but the problem is this. If your creditor forces you into bankruptcy, you have to have lived in Florida for 40 months. That's 40 months before you get any homestead protection. And you have no homestead protection. I mean zero. They can take the whole thing if your creditor forces you into bankruptcy before the 40-month period has expired. Somebody else says, I'll put the money into an LLC. Well, the LLCs are pretty good for a mid-level asset protection, but the problem is we've seen the courts repeatedly foreclose on somebody's interest in an LLC. And putting assets into an LLC certainly isn't going to work after you've been sued or after you've done something that could lead to a lawsuit. Too late. It's not going to work. So an LLC is a mid-level of asset protection, but it's not going to work when you really need the strong asset protection, when you're going against a results-oriented judge. Next, we have clients who say, well, I'll put it into a U.S. trust like a Nevada trust or a Wyoming trust, Delaware trust, Alaska trust, South Dakota trust. Okay, that's fine if you live in those states, but if you don't live in those states and or the assets aren't in those states, it's not going to work. I mean, if you have a judge in California or New York or Florida, do you think that judge is going to apply Nevada law? No, they're going to apply the law to where you are, to where that judge is, and to where your assets are. We've seen it time and time again. Results-oriented judges penetrate U.S. trusts time and time again. U.S. trusts are okay for a mid-level of asset protection if you and your assets are in that state, but if not, they're not a good choice. Believe me, I've seen it from experience, and I'm the CEO of the largest asset protection company in the country. Now, the law makes me say none of this is legal advice. Make sure to see an attorney. We actually have attorneys on staff who may be able to help. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click on over to the iPad now to see what really works when you need asset protection for your liquid assets. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the strongest asset protection for liquid assets. I frankly haven't seen any asset protection strategy work consistently if it's based in the U.S. and under a U.S. judge's control. So what we need to do is take advantage of international laws that have stronger protective features than anything in the U.S. So we're using some of the safest banks in the world and some of the safest legal tools in the world. So we'll typically set up a trust in the Cook Islands. I've been setting up trusts there for about 27 years. and we have billions of dollars of clients' assets in the Cook Islands trusts. Now, all trusts have a trustee. In this case, the trust is our Cook Islands law firm. They've gone through tremendous background checks to get a trustee license, and they're also bonded by an insurance company. And take a look at the Global Corruption Perceptions Index. And you'll see the safest countries in the world from a legal and ethical standpoint, where there's the least corruption. Tied for number 1 on the list is New Zealand. And what's Cook Islands? Part of New Zealand. So we're talking about the safest jurisdiction in the world from an ethical standpoint. Next, what we do is we set up a limited liability company, and we put the LLC inside the trust. Now, the LLC is the tool that holds the bank account. So again, we have the Cook Islands Trust that owns 100% of an LLC, and the LLC owns the bank account. Now, why do we do that? Why? Because what we can do is we can make you the manager of that LLC and the signature initially on that bank account. So it essentially puts you in control. And then when the quote bad thing happens and the assets are threatened, it's like handing the string of a yo-yo to the party that can protect you. So it's handing the management of the LLC to the trustee, so they over here become the manager of the LLC, and a law firm is put on that account, and that is multiple attorneys must agree and move funds, and they must act in accordance with the trust document and under the supervision of the regulators. Then when the U.S. courts say, give me the money, you tell the trustee, hey, the courts are ordering me to return the funds, please wire the funds, so you're cooperating. But the trustee says, U.S. courts don't have jurisdiction over here. We don't have to comply. Our duty is to protect our client, and that's you. So these results-oriented judges with increasing theories of legal liability to get their hands into your pocket fall by the wayside because U.S. courts don't have jurisdiction over our foreign law firm. And then when the quote bad thing goes away and you're not under legal duress anymore, the string of control, which is the management of the Nevis LLC, goes back to you, and you're back in the driver's seat with all of your money intact. In the meanwhile, while the trustee law firm is in place, if you need money, you simply have them wire it wherever you want it to go. In fact, the house that I'm sitting in right now, we had the trustee wire the funds into escrow to close on this house. So I'm practicing what I'm preaching here. So that's the strongest asset protection tool in the world, the Cook Islands Trust or Nevis Trust with a Nevis LLC inside, where you're the manager, you're the signatory on the account, and you allow the trustee law firm to step in when you need them to. In fact, I don't trust very many people but my mama and my wife and these trustees when it comes to my money. And I'm certainly not going to transfer money to mama when I get into legal trouble. This structure is the strongest asset protection in the world. We've set up more Cook Islands Trust than anybody on the planet. And our clients have literally billions of dollars being protected inside the Cook Islands Trusts. And we haven't had one client lose money due to a lawsuit by having their assets in Cook Islands Trust that we've set up for them. And the nice thing, if you have a stock market portfolio, you can still have a stock market portfolio in a strong, safe international jurisdiction. In fact, I go online and see my stocks and trade stocks anytime I want to, even though the trustee law firm is standing in to protect me. Not that I have any legal threats, but I like to practice what I preach, and I feel a lot safer. I can sleep a lot better at night. So if you have questions and you have liquid assets that need to protect, whether it's divorce, lawsuit, or whatever the situation is, give us a call at 1-954-400-1050 or visit us at assetprotectionplanners.com and fill out our free consultation form. Please click like, subscribe, and share this video. See you next time. This is The Business Guy.